Hello, I'm Jason Kelly. Thank you for joining me. In this video, I'll present the effectiveness of my signal system in the stock market. For background on how the system works, please see the video, How My Signal System Works. In the 3% signal, I showed how an investor named Mark used the plan to greatly outperform two of his colleagues, earning the same income and directing the same percentage of their income to 401k accounts. On page 291 in the book, you'll find this chart. And I'll show it up on screen for you. Now, this chart shows in the y-axis on the left the balances of their accounts over time. The three investors are named Garrett, Selma, and Mark. And Mark is the main one we care about. He's the one running the 3% signal. And it starts back in 2001 and ends in June of 2013. And notice there the 3 sig advantage, that stands for 3% signal. We can see that at the end of this run, Mark's plan greatly outpaced the balances of his colleagues, Garrett and Selma. So notice also that the comparison in the book ends in June 2013. What happened after that? Let's have a look. At my website, jasonkelly.com, if you click on the resources and then compare investing strategies, you'll see a comparison chart extended to the present. Now jump straight to the page. Please visit jasonkelly.com/resources/strategies. On the strategies page, I compare Mark's 3 sig plan with two others, one called DCA SPY, the other called DCA Medalists. I'll explain each of the 3 plans. Mark's 3 sig plan, this is Mark's plan run with IJR and VFIIX, a bond fund available at that time called the Vanguard Ginnie Mae Bond Fund. It's as shown in the book, beginning at the end of the fourth quarter of 2000, then with $10,000, and the salary history shown in the book, then his salary increasing 3% annually in the years after 2013, which is where tracking ended in the book. Now, his quarterly contribution to that bond fund progressed from $1,815 in 2013 all the way up to $1,983 last year in 2016. Okay. Now, he also contributed $13,860 in new cash in the, that was the subprime mortgage crash per the signal's guidance. Now, one thing you don't see on the screen here, but you can see on the page, is the low expense ratios of Mark's funds. 0.14% in IJR, sometimes even down to 0.7% these days, and the bond fund at 0.2%. Very cheap index fund approach. Okay, now the next plan, DCA SPY. DCA stands for dollar cost averaging. The plan runs the same $10,000 invested at the end of 2000 with Mark's same salary history shown in the book with the same quarterly contributions after 2013. The only difference is that all capital goes into the S&P 500 as represented by the SPY, SPY, ETF. This is dollar cost averaging into SPY with Mark's quarterly contributions. And Mark's $13,860 in new cash that was contributed during the subprime mortgage crash is distributed evenly across the first 50 quarterly contributions. Now, here again, notice the low expense ratio, SPY just 0.09%. Finally, the third plan, DCA Medalists. This plan works the same as DCA SPY, but using a portfolio of Morningstar medalist actively managed funds, so the best of the best. And they're initially allocated as follows. 30% to the Longleaf Partners Fund, symbol LLPFX, large company stock fund. 20% into the Wasatch Small Cap Growth Fund, WAAEX, that's a small company stock fund. 20% to Artisan International, ARTIX, an international stock fund, and 30% to PIMCO Total Return, PTTDX, which is a bond fund. All are featured in the book, and all are still highly rated. So contributions in this plan are divided evenly along those initial allocation percentages, and holdings are not rebalanced back to target allocations. Before we go to performance comparison, notice on the page the high expense ratios of these actively managed funds. Longleaf Partners, 0.9%. Wasatch Small Cap, 1.21%. Artisan International, 1.2%. And PIMCO Bond, 0.8%. These are much higher than the index funds we looked at earlier. So, how did the three plans fare? Have a look. Now, on this shown here, this excerpt from the table on my page, in the end of 2008, now that was the subprime mortgage crash year. All of these funds were crushed. All of these plans, I should say, were crushed. However, Mark contributed extra money then per the plan's signal. So he went down 5.5% that year. The DCA SPY plan went down 28.8% in 2008. And the DCA Medalists plan went down 26.5%. Now after that, just peruse the increases over time. Look at this. By the end of last year, by the end of 2016, Mark's 3-SIG plan ended at a balance of $332,091. In the SPY, the S&P 500, the exact same amount of money on the same schedule, right, was only $263,874. And the biggest disappointment, as usual, were the actively managed funds. Even though these are award-winning, medalist award-winning funds, the ending balance of 2016 in the DCA Medalist was $209,070. Keep in mind, Mark's 3-SIG plan was not run perfectly because he skipped one buy signal. But the DCA plans are shown here being run perfectly. In real life, almost nobody runs a perfectly executed DCA plan or restricts their portfolio to just medal-winning mutual funds. Yet in this table, we see an imperfectly run 3-SIG plan performing much better than two perfectly run dollar-cost averaging plans. I mean, compared to the real-life mess that most people's portfolios turn into over time, the signal system does even better than it's shown doing against these perfect DCA plans. The numbers don't lie, folks. The signal system works, and this is just one version of it. In addition to 3-SIG, I also run 6-SIG with 2x leverage and 9-SIG with 3x leverage. This boosts profit potential even more while using the same trusted signal framework. There's just no better way to go. Get your financial future on the signal system ASAP. That's my recommendation to you. Thanks for watching.